Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. It's been a while. I've been starting to rank the Ween albums, and I was planning to do one about every week, but it's been a while since I've done the last one, the pod, and I'm going to try my best to do one from now on, about once a week. So this is their third album, Pure Guava, released in 1992, and what I'm going to do, as I did in the previous two videos, is I'm going to rank the songs from my least favorite to my favorite and rate them out of 5. But I don't think there's any Ween song that's lower than, even a 2.5 or a 3, because I love Ween. And for those that don't know, I became a fan of Ween when I heard their album Quebec, about over a year ago. And I thought, yeah, excellent band. I'm going to buy another album. And I bought the pod, which I had heard was, a challenging listen, but I figured Quebec was easy, for me. The pod wasn't. I hated the album the first time I heard it. And then I bought Pure Guava. And even though, after the second and third listen of the pod, I ended up loving that album. Same thing happened with Pure Guava. The first listen, it was a struggle to listen to it all the way through. I didn't enjoy it. And also with God, Ween, Satan, the very same thing. The first listen, I basically disliked every song. But Ween as a band, definitely not for everybody, but if you like, more than just your basic music, classic rock like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin and all that, a bit of, a challenging listen, at least at first. Stick with Ween and you might become a fan like I have, a big fan. Other bands I love, of course, my favorite is the Beatles, and then Sparks, Captain Beefheart, Frank Zappa, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, yes. Love all kinds of bands, the Beach Boys. But Ween is right up there for me now. And so here we go with the rating and ranking of this album. And as I always say, I know that these Ween videos don't get the views that some of my other videos get. So if you are a Ween fan, please support this series of ranking the Ween albums by liking the video and leaving a comment below. And please make sure you're subscribed. So here we go. So this starts, the lowest rating is 3.5 out of 5. So even my least favorite song on the album, I really like a lot. And it is Loving You Through It All. I just feel it kind of drags. It's a bit on the boring side, and definitely my least favorite song on Pure Guava, but I still like it. And then we move up to 4 out of 5 ratings. Hey Fat Boy. I won't say the other word. That's, not one of my favorites, but still, I do like it more than Loving You Through It All. Next up, these are, only one song, 4.5. Tender Situation. Almost a 5. And the other thing I want to say, kind of repeating myself from the other videos, but might have some new viewers here. Ween can get pretty crazy, experimental, silly, crude, but through it all, they are superb musicians. I feel Gene Ween is a great singer, and he can do these crazy voices. Although, some of the songs are sped up, tape manipulation for some songs. But even in concert, he can do some of that in concert with the voices. And Dean Ween is a excellent guitarist. Throughout the Ween catalog, there's a lot of great guitar solos. songs, even on the early albums. And this is the last album that was recorded, 4-track recording. Not really studio quality like the next album's coming up. But still, I think the sound quality is really good. Sounds great to me on headphones. So the production isn't really an issue with me, at least. But it certainly doesn't sound like a it certainly doesn't sound like like a Steely Dan recording. All right, so the rest of the songs are 5 out of 10, and they're ranked in order of how much I love them. Little Birdie is the first song, and it's kind of similar to the opening of The Pod, where that song is slow. It's a kind of a weird way to start an album. Usually you might think it would start with a rocky song or something to get the listener into it, but no. With Ween, it drags, it's slow, it's weird. But, like I said, after a second listen or so, you kind of get into the whole vibe of the whole album. Little Birdie, Flies on My The Going Get Tough from the get-go, Pumping for the Man, Spring Theme. I Saw Jeaner Crying in His Sleep, which is based, I guess, on a true story. Reggae Junkie Jew, Don't Get Too Close to My Fantasy. Now, that would probably be the most normal song on the album. And it might be a good, if you've never heard Ween before, it might be a good song from their early period to check out. Just for Ween, it might be an easy way to get into what they're about. Don't start with my number 1 rated song on this list. Touch My Tutor, Poop Ship Destroyer, the final song on the album. It kind of has reminds me of the Stallion series of songs that they do. Just, it's weird, but I love it. I love a bit of weird in my life. Yeah, there's the Stallion Part 3. Now, Big Jilm, as it says there, I just read today that it's actually Big Jim, which they sing in the song. So I was kind of confused. Why do they call it Big Jilm? But I guess with Dean Ween's handwriting for the lyrics and everything, I don't know if it was the record company or what, they thought it was they thought it was Big Jilm. But and it's based on a true person, that was, I guess, called or nicknamed Big Jim, from when Dean was growing up and working at a gas station. And these are the top 4. Push the Little Daisies, one of their best known songs. It was a bit of a radio hit. It was on MTV. They played that a lot on MTV and Much Music here in Canada. And once again, they use tape manipulation and they speed up Gene Ween's vocals. But like I said, in concert, he can almost duplicate that vocal because he's just so talented. And it's a very silly, crazy song that, once again, you might need to listen to it more than once to appreciate it like I do. Play It Off Legit is like, one thing I will say about this album is I think it's one of their funniest. There's some songs where, they're laughing during it, and at the end they're kind of, breaking down in laughter, and it's a fun album overall. But like I said, give it a chance. You might, I think for any album, I've had lots of albums where I didn't like the album on the first listen, and there are times where I wouldn't listen to it again. But I've learned through the years to not do that. Give an album at least one more go. If you don't like it by the third listen, then it's not for you, of course. And my two favorites, which I kind of number two could almost be number one, but number two is Sarah. That's another song if you've never heard Ween that you could check out. Like I said, the sound quality is, it's not studio quality, but it's still, for me, it sounds good. And it's gorgeous. It's a really, truly a really nice song. Sometimes, Ween isn't all jokes and, being silly and being weird. They can sometimes write just a really beautiful song, and Sarah is certainly that. But number one for me, the opposite of Sarah, is Morning Glory. It's kind of similar to, I guess, like the Beatles' Revolution 9. It's about 5 minutes of complete chaos, weird, voices everywhere, and it's definitely not for everybody, but it's one of my favorite Ween songs. And it just sounds so cool in headphones. And it's freaky, but it's also funny, too, in spots. And I've mentioned before that Ween is known for their brown sound. You could look that up, just Google it, Ween brown sound. But it's kind of just, like the first time you hear it, it's like, oh, that's bad. That sounds god-awful. And like on further listens, you just get taken into the Ween universe. And it's just truly an amazing song as far as I'm concerned. But it's not for everybody. And so these are the rankings so far. Pure Guava is of the the first three albums, and I'll say this: almost all of their albums are pretty close. I love them almost the same. And there are, I think, at least two albums that I know will be ranked at the bottom. Not that they're bad albums, but the other ones sometimes they're all number one for me. So Pure Guava is a 4.84 out of 5. And the pod was 4.67. And my second favorite is their debut, God Ween Satan, with 4.73. But like I said, there's times I love each album the same. So, I don't feel I'm the greatest, re, you know, album reviewer or whatever, but I just have a passion for music. And what I love is, telling my viewers, oh, I love this, check it out. And some do, through the years, I had a lot of my viewers become fans of Sparks and other bands that I've talked about. Not always, of course, but, yeah, and that's the main reason I do this. Not that I'm like not that I'm a great not that I'm a great reviewer, but I just love Ween, and I hope other people do check them out. And like I said, if you are a Ween fan, please support this series by leaving a comment, maybe sharing it with other Ween fans, and liking the video, and make sure you're subscribed. And I'm gonna try my best. Next up is chocolate and cheese. I'm going to try my best to have that video done within a week or so. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.